Toyota has replaced General Motors as the top-selling car maker in the United States. It's a position which General Motors has held since 1931. Let's talk to David Bailey, the Professor of Business Economics at the University of Birmingham. David, welcome. This is a totemic moment for the US car industry, isn't it? Is it a blip or is this long-term?
Yeah, we don't know is the honest answer to that. I mean, GM has been at the top spot for over 90 years, but we've seen so much turbulence over the last year, particularly in terms of chip shortages. That's really impacted on GM, whereas Toyota have played it much more cleverly, a very close relationship with its chip suppliers. It never cancelled its orders like some other car makers did. It stockpiled chips, and it's managed to get through this whole chip shortage much better than other car firms. So I'm not sure this is going to be a permanent shift, but clearly Toyota have weathered this storm much more carefully.
And what do you think, just in terms of the products, what is driving Toyota's surging American sales?
It's seen good sales of its medium-sized cars, for example, like its Camry and its RAV4 SUV, down slightly but holding up in the market overall. So it has a good product offering. And what it's managed to do is position itself very well in terms of hybrid vehicles, which appeal in certain markets like California. Of course, Toyota had bet on hybrids in the short term, hydrogen long run, and that's probably got that wrong. So it's now having to play massive catch-up when it comes to rolling out electric vehicles.
If part of this is the crisis around the supply of semiconductors around the world, does that mean that GM, when it gets on top of its supply chain problems, could reclaim the top spot from Toyota, or is this more terminal?
I think it could. I don't think Toyota should have a kind of number one bumper sticker quite yet. So I do expect GM to reclaim that next year, probably towards the end of the year, once the chip shortage has started to shake out and the industry starts to get back to normal. Of course, we don't really know what normal is anymore in this sort of industry.
Just let's have a word about the more international scene beyond the United States. What about Toyota's successes on a more global scale?
What's interesting, I think, is the whole industry is undergoing profound change. We're seeing this big shift take place towards electric vehicles. It's interesting, for example, that Ford's share price surged this week because it said it would increase production of the F-150 electric vehicle. And in America, the future of electric cars is all about pickups. More broadly, the industry is having to pivot away from the internal combustion engine and towards electric cars. And it's those companies that are best positioned to do that if we think about not only Tesla, most obviously, but also companies like Volkswagen, which are making a fantastic shift into electric vehicles, but also the Chinese players in a really big way, shaping up as powerful players when it comes to electric cars going forwards.
Ford shares are trading at 20-year high. What's behind that success story? And I wonder, as you mentioned it, how do they compare to Tesla?
I think what's interesting here is that Ford was seen as a laggard when it came to electric vehicles for a very long time. It was really struggling to catch up. It had to do a deal with Volkswagen to share Volkswagen technology in Europe. But we've seen two products do very well for Ford during 2021, which is why the share price is up by 140% last year. The Ford Mach-E SUV doing very well, but also this F-150 Lightning, an electric pickup. It's said that it's already had 200,000 reservations and will be planning to increase output next year from something like 40,000 to 80,000, 150,000. Now, the reason why that's important is the F-150 has for decades been the best-selling vehicle in the United States. And the future of electric cars in the United States is very much about pickups. Think about the Tesla Cybertruck. Think about the Rivian. And if Ford is saying demand for its F-150 is looking good, that means it's going to sell a lot of them and make an awful lot of money.